Okay, I want to share some things with you that will be helpful in your stance practice or standing practice. And if you haven't been following along, I've been into these stance practices for a little while now, and the reason is because they're so accessible. It's a really good way to work with your nervous system, to work with your overall capacity to release and relax into presence while building up your body, building strength in your body, understanding the way your body's connections work through the fascia, the muscles, the alignment of bones, the balance, the breath. And so I think this is perhaps one of the most potent practices simply because of how accessible it is and how many benefits there are. And you just need to understand a few simple principles. So I do have another video on this if you want to see some different stances. There's one video just on standing still, very simple. There's another video on 6 different positions. Today I'm going to focus on the feet, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what happens when you connect more with the tissues and the structures of the feet, and begin to release and relax through the hips and legs while aligning and just taking some deep breaths. So we're going to use an example being the half horse, okay? So I like to line up with the sun. It's just my sort of habit. It feels really nice. So I'm using this shadow. That's the line from my front foot. I'm putting my heel just in front of the shadow on the back. And you can see I've got probably double shoulder width in terms of my stance here. So as I sink down, because it's a half horse, I'm not going to be straight on. I'm going to be at 45 degrees. And that starts with my pelvis. So the pelvis is at 45 degrees. There's a little bit of adjustment here. In Tai Chi Chuan, this is called the Kwa. So we're sort of turning the Kwa. And then from here, I want to connect through my feet, right? So what happens if you're not sensory through your feet is you can't sense the ground very well, and that's your base of support for balance. And so if that's lacking, what happens is the body's attempt to feel safe and structured and balanced travels up and becomes tightness in the legs or in the hips or even in the upper body. And a really simple example of this is when you see someone step on a pebble, right? So when there's a threat perceived on the ground and it hurts, immediately the weight goes whoop, the muscles go whoop, and that's what we would call the chi rising in a sense. There's this excitation of chi. What is chi? It's a multitude of different things, one of which is energy or awareness, or the kind of impulse to move in the body. So when we trust the feet more, when we connect with the structures of the feet, and when we're able to sense the ground without reacting in fear to the ground, we can allow this tension to pass through, and we can have our body weight supported through the more base structures. So it's really important here that in this position, you're going to be aware of your feet, you're going to be balanced on your feet, right through the center of the midfoot, just behind this front line or the ball of the foot. And I don't want you to be super passive. I don't want you to be super like loosey-goosey with the feet. I want you to have this sense of like, yeah, I'm holding the ground. It's not excessive, it's not gripping or curling the toes, but it's, yeah, I'm connected with the ground. I'm aware of my arch. And in these stances, what you'll notice is that when you create a little bit of an arch here, just a little bit like that, on both feet, that immediately connects the fascia through the foot. It connects a lot of these white fibrous tissues and the sort of silk that wraps around the muscles in the body. And that connection offers you both feedback and a bit of an elastic kind of link through your lower body into your upper body. The more elastic you're using, the more you're relying on the white tissues and bony structures, the less tension you need in your muscles, the less tension, well, okay, I'm talking about contraction, the less bunching, the less grabbing and gripping you need. The more you're using passive tension instead of that resistant tension. And so that keeps you free. That keeps you free to move, it keeps you free to feel and to sense. And the muscles are absolutely still going to be working, because if we're holding a position like this for 20 minutes, you're going to be feeling some things, but you're going to quiet that system so that you can listen, align, and understand your body. What's going to happen as the muscles do start to burn in a position like this is, from a sort of traditional Chinese perspective or from an internal martial arts perspective, the channels are being cleared. And as the channels are being cleared, and we're kind of talking about like blood vessels, we're talking about connections or links through the tissue and the fascia, we're talking about the way nutrients and energy and force pass through the body, through all of the different layers. As these channels clear, they get hot first. So imagine you're in a river, and imagine that river has a blockage, and that's like wood and rubbish and whatever it is. The water is going to back up behind that and start to exert a lot of pressure. And as the water backs up behind that and the level rises, in our body that's felt as heat. And so that heat is actually the accumulation of chi. It's the accumulation of awareness, of energy, of nutrients, of all of that, which want to pass through but are impeded by a blockage. So the beauty of this art is that the longer you practice and the more intently and sincerely you practice, the more you begin to notice how you're actually unconsciously holding a lot of those channels closed. And what holds them closed are your reactions to life, your reactions to experience, where you tense up, maybe you are traumatized, maybe you're holding a belief that something's going to happen to you again because it happened to you in the past. And all of that mental processing, all of that blockage is essentially drawing your awareness out of its present moment adaptability, the effortless, no mind transformation that happens in the present, and it's pulling you into the past. And you're living a reflection of the past, which you're carrying forth into the present, and that's all that junk in the river. And so this heat, this accumulation of hot chi in the body is beginning to work through that. It's beginning to clear that. And that's why you feel the subconscious narratives come up. You feel, oh, I don't want to do this. Oh, this hurts. And then you start to tighten. It's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's that you're just revealing what's already there. You're just revealing the reactivity that's been stuck in the system. You're revealing the misunderstanding and delusion and past experiences stuck in the system, and they're coming up to the surface. If you allow that to get hot, allow the legs to get hot, allow yourself to shake, allow the thoughts and feelings to be there and just let them be there, while staying and feeling your structure, trusting the ground, trusting life, then they'll pass. And that heat in the muscles, which feels like red hot fire, will begin to feel like it's a white hot glow. And that glow will start to feel more like light than heat. And the light will start to feel like it's streaming through your body and your tissues as awareness meets no blockages. There's no impediments. There's no resistance to the passage of awareness and chi through the body. And so now the channels are opening, and I think some people call them the heavenly streams. And you can see why. It's like you can imagine sunlight coming through all these parts of you. So that's the healing effect. That's the internal transformation that's occurring. And it all starts with being able to sense the ground, feel the ground, release into your structure. You have to understand alignment and bones and structure first. You have to be able to keep your joints open. Open in this sense means not locked. And it also means not bottomed out, resting in your connective tissues. There has to be a muscular buoyancy that we then learn to hold and surrender the effort around. And so that opening is really where this wonderful work is happening. As that happens, the breath is going to start to do what it needs to. You may start to breathe more. You may start to breathe bigger. If you keep releasing and relaxing your body, not resisting what's happening, being kind, but also just staying, as you unwind all of these things you're carrying, your breath is going to start to help you move in the way it needs. So for example, this morning when I was holding half horse for quite a while, my legs lit up. I went through that phase of like the fire of purification in the legs. I released the chi, or the transmission of energy, down to the floor. It started to feel clearer, and then that started to do its work. The awareness, the chi, the movement starts to go where it's needed. It knows where it's needed, it goes where it's needed, and it starts to reveal and open this blockage in the right shoulder around here and around the neck, which I often carry. So then it starts to move to there, and then it will move around the body. And this is the beautiful mystery of allowing your body and allowing mind, which is everywhere. Mind isn't beliefs, mind isn't thoughts, to flow unimpeded. When you are out of the way, what that means is that you are with the flow of things. You're kind of with the Tao in a sense. You're with that undefinable thing which is always transforming, and you're not resisting that transformation, so you get carried along with it, with the stream of life. Life is always changing. Things that get stagnant, stuck, rigid, and insist on pretending that they can stay the same are the things which are naturally selected out of existence more quickly and which are unable to create fruit and to enjoy the fruits of life. So I hope that's been helpful for you. Happy standing. Check out the 2 videos I have. I'll put the links in the description. If you're interested in working with me on this in person, well, online or in person, but I'm talking online right now, I have a 9-week program currently. If you watch this video in a few months or years, this may not be happening. Currently have a 9-week program called Baseline, where we're talking about raising the quality of your awareness, clarifying your mind, finding ways to process emotions in healthy ways through body, through physical practice, through relationships, and essentially help you create, lead, contribute, and enjoy your life at a new level with less resistance. Thanks, guys.